We first of all are going to take a big picture look, at how you and I can do some fascinating things to make a difference to that place that you can see right there, not just to the environment, but to all of the people on the world in the world rather, as we create a world that is full of giving through B1G1. But of course, rather than look at it on like a big basis, we're also going to have a look at on a tiny basis, specifically wherever it is you are. We're going to be showing you how you can connect and do some fascinating things in your neck of the woods, wherever that neck of the woods is. And frequently, I think most of us on this particular call are from Australia. We're going to find that out in just a second. But there is a likelihood that some people are right over here in New Zealand, which of course makes it a little bit later than lunchtime sort of get together. But wherever it is that you are, again, thank you so much for being here. Tell you what we're going to do today is talk about 7 magical things that you can do with B1G1. Now, many of you, because we've met, already know some of these things, but this gives us a little kind of agenda, if you will, that we are going to be working to. So we're going to find out how you can match your giving. In fact, you might even do some giving today to the things that your customers love, not just the things that you love, but the things that your customers love. How you choose from some 810 stunning, literally stunning, high impact projects. As well as that, we're going to be showing you how you can give from just, amazingly enough, 1 cent. And of course, because you're now all part of B1G1, you know that fully 100% of your giving, we even make up the bank charges, fully 100% of your giving goes to where you want it to go, which is pretty unusual, I think. You're going to discover today that it's never, ever, ever about how much you give. It's always about the impact that you create. So in B1G1, you'll never be saying things like a percentage of our profits go, or $2 from this goes to this sort of thing. It is never, ever, ever about the money. It's always about the impact that you'll be creating, and we'll show you how to do that. And we'll even have a look at how you can see every single impact that you're creating through the magic of geocoding. And most importantly, the 7th thing is that you are always in total control of what's going on in B1G1. By the way, if this is going too fast, then just jump in on the Q&A and slow me down, or just go ahead and ask anything that comes up as you go through. And specifically what we're going to do to look at those 7 things is to look at how. So today is all about how. And some people I know have already got, Arcadia is one of them, has already got her B1G1 screen opened up alongside it. That's actually not a bad thing to do as well, so that you can kind of follow through as we push all the buttons. And by the way, this is scary stuff today, because we are going to do all of that live with no video recording, all absolutely, totally live. So let's talk about these 3 hows. So the first thing we're going to have a look at is how you do B1G1 with maximum impact. Secondly, how you do it habitually. In other words, this is not about, the one-off thing that doesn't change anything. This is about embedding the giving into the very substance, the very core of what goes on in your company. And lastly, how you do that with maximum connection. And it turns out that those 3 words, or 3 of those words that you see right there, specifically the word impact, specifically the word habit, and the word connection, are right up. If we were doing this in the B1G1 office this morning, which I'm not, I'm actually at home this morning because I tend to make too much noise on the webinars. So if we were in the office, we would see those big words, impact, habit, and connection, written very, very large indeed up on the B1G1 wall, because those are the 3 things that absolutely drive what B1G1 is all about: impact, habit, and connection. So where we're going to start is taking a look at these first 2, that is to say, impact and habit. And I guess it's also related to giving stories. So we are now, this is where you cross your fingers, this is something that we announced some 3 or 4 months ago in the new B1G1, and it is all focused, as some of you may know, around these things called giving stories. So now you should see me going live. You might just let me know if you can see something on your screen that says, hello, Paul's Company. What do you want to do today? Hope you can see that. Jump up on the Q&A and let me know that you can see that. And what we're going to do is literally, oh, thank you, you can, it seems. Let's have a look. Let me just see. Yes, can see. Thank you, Anna. You are so responsive, Anna. Thank you very, very much. So what we're going to do is we are going to have a look at what happens when we press this button. By the way, you've probably already noticed that you can customize these buttons over here, but we're not going to worry too much about that right now. So what we're going to do is just press the Give Again or Give Again button, which on your screen might say Start Your Giving. And one of the things that you will see instantly is this thing here called Giving Stories. And if I just scroll down, it turns out that on my account, I've got lots and lots of giving stories. I'm just going to scroll down so I can see all the giving stories that I have in place. And we're going to talk about in a minute why these giving stories are so central to how you do things in B1G1. But ahead of that, and I know some of you may have already done this, we're going to do something else. We're going to come back to giving stories, but we're just going to have a look at all projects. You see that? I just clicked the all projects button. Now, we can search by category, by country, by keyword, and all of that sort of stuff. And we can even do a more advanced search. So we can do all sorts of interesting things. We can put keywords in here. If you want to have a look at that, just press the advanced search button. But what I want to show you is that what's going to happen now is we're just going to scroll down here. And let me remind you that this is totally live. We're going to just be scrolling down and having a look at things. And by the way, if we wanted to have a look at a particular thing, this one is one that the guys in South Africa absolutely love. This is, have a look. We just click on the screen right there, and we see a description of the project. Give a Marmite sandwich. For, believe it or not, 5 cents to the homeless people down there in the various cities in Johannesburg. It's a very favorite project. By the way, I can, as you'll notice, once I'm here, I can just click on that Add to Cart if I actually want to give right now. But what I also can do, just go up here, see where that little blue heart is right there? And I can make that a favorite project. So let's see if I do that. And we'll have a look at the difference in a minute between favorites and giving stories. But in any event, here's all of the projects, and obviously what you probably want to do is not what I've just done, but you want to kind of search and narrow the search in. So let's show you how you do that. And what we're going to do is go back to My Giving. Again, try and follow along with me on your B1G1 screen if you can. And we're just going to add a new giving story. And so this is, I'm not sure whether this is the right way to say it, but these are setting up the triggers, if you like, the kind of things that, that go on in your company. So here you might say something like, when we sell or when we write an email, or when we, whatever it is, but when we sell, I'm not sure what we should sell today, something. We'll just say something, just for the fun of it. When we say something, whatever that something is, we can save the text right there. Let's say, oh, a photograph of someone. This is a guy called Mike Mackay, and he's in Wisconsin. Sorry, in Michigan. No, he's not. He's in Madison. There he is. And what we can do, and so you would put perhaps a photograph of your whatever it is. You can scale it, as you can see. You can position it, and so on and so forth. So we'll just do that to Mike right there. And now what we can do is, and we can save that, of course, just by doing that. There we go, we click save. And now we will go and choose a project. Now let's just assume, for the sake of discussion, that you happen to be into education, whatever it is, or your client happens to be into education. So you'll see here, you can simply zero down the search, for example, to look at, say, education. And you might want to say, I'm only interested in projects that go from 0 to, I don't know, pick a number, let's say $15 as a case in point to create the impact. Now, of course, you can also put keywords down in here as well. So let's just go and press search. And again, remember, this is live. That's the kind of fun thing about all of this. And you can see some of the projects coming up here. And so what we're going to do is we're going to have a look at a giving story that I've already created so that you can see what's actually happening. By the way, the reason, or as you create that giving story, I'm actually going to create another one just for fun So when we sell something, not sure where that went. So let's just save it. This time we'll put another photograph there. Let's see. This is risky, isn't it, doing this live? Shouldn't do that. But anyway, let's do the smiley thing. There we go. And we can scale that down. There we go. And we'll just save that. And then once again, we'll choose a project. And we'll do the same kind of project range. Let's just zero in down here. And let's put it as, what did we say, $13 or something like that. And we're going to look at a category. We'll look at education again, and we'll say search. There we go. And so the projects all come up, and we might say, just for the sake of coming, by the way, you can scroll left and right on that. I'm not sure why that's not happening this morning, but for some reason it's not. Not sure why, but on your system, it surely will be doing that. And what we're going to say is that we're actually going to provide fuel for delivering some meals to school. So there we go right there. So now, and you'll see that what happens, we deliver 100 meals to feed school children in India through this particular project. And look at that, it's just 33 cents. Now, what we might want to do, of course, is increase the amount of the giving. So for example, we're going to make it 2 so that we're delivering, and then 3 so that we're delivering 300 meals. Just imagine that. And by the way, this particular project, believe it or not, serves something like 120,000 school kids a day in Mumbai alone. So it's a fabulous, fabulous project. Then what we can do is just select next right here, and we can set some goals. This is really cool for getting team members involved. So we might say that we're going to set a goal of, I don't know, let's do 1,200 meals. And we don't have to do this, and we're going to do that by such and such a date. Let's say we're going to do it by June the 30th, right there, the end of the financial year for those accountants amongst us. And thank you for joining us, by the way. And now we can actually skip across here. And what we might want to do is actually do some giving today. And I'll show you how that works. We just click add to the cart right there. Oh, save the giving story first. So now I've saved it. Now we can add that to the cart. Take a look at what happens up here. That cart was a 6, now becomes a 7. So if I look at the cart right there, there you see all of the things that, these are previous giving things that I've created. And there's the one that we just created right there. And so for 99 cents, look at that, delivering 300 meals. And of course, we can increase the quantity whilst we're there as well. By the way, so, and I won't press proceed to pay right there. What I'm actually going to do is just go back to the giving again and creating some impacts, because I promised you that I would show you the difference between giving stories. You can see that giving stories create a trigger. So for example, once you've created all these giving stories, then some people do this every day. So they look at all of their giving stories like this, there's a lot of them there, and they say, okay, so how many clients did we create today? And they put the number in there. How many shelf companies did we set up today? And they put the number in there. And then they simply press add to cart. It takes about 40 seconds to do all of that. And so every day you can actually do the giving. By the way, not necessarily recommending that you do that. It could be at the end of the month. Let's quickly talk about, or the end of the week, wherever you want to do it. Let's quickly talk about the difference here between that and favorite projects. Down here you see favorites. Now you'll see the thing with favorites is it's not actually linked to any particular trigger. These are just things that you happen to like. There's that Marmite sandwich one right now, look, that we put in before, and we can just add that to the cart as well and do some giving because it's someone's birthday or whatever else it is. So that's how we use the giving stories, and it's a very, very, very powerful way of actually doing some great things in B1G1. So all you need, and by the way, you can delete them, you can edit them, you can do all those sorts of things as we go through. So importantly, nothing is etched in stone in the B1G1 process. So let's now get back to our, because there's another part of all of this, of course, which is the connection part. Now, whilst we're here, I'm going to show you how you do that. Not surprisingly, or part of how you do that, not surprisingly, there's a little button up here. See that one? Called connection. And what we're going to do is just press connect. And here now, we start to see some things that we can put on the website. You're actually going to see some of these later on live. So here, for example, this is my widget. I can change it. I can say, instead of displaying 3 rows or whatever, I might want to display, let's have a look here, I might want to display 5 rows for some reason. I might want to have it horizontally. I might want to have different colors. And then all you do to actually put that on your website, look at how simple this is. You just press Get Embed Code, and you copy that code right there, and then you place that on your site. You can see down here as well that, just if I roll down a little bit, there's all sorts of other ways of showing that widget. For example, you can use the community widget, which is talking about all of the impacts that we've been making together with all the people around the world, of course, in B1G1. You see you've got a couple of options on there. You can also click on and get the embed code for your map so that you can actually track, you're going to see this later on, track every single solitary giving. And all you do again is press embed code and paste that into your site. You can also, there's a number of other ways you can do this. For example, look at this. You can actually look just at the total impacts that you are creating as well, rather than the individual projects like on the widget. And look at this. I don't think many of us know about this. See this one? It's called your leveraged impact. And you'll notice that one there, it's a pretty big number. Now, what that is when, for example, you recommend someone to join or be a part of B1G1, their giving gets linked back to you. And you can see that on the map with different colors and so on. And so for the very first time, what that means is you can get a sense of, in fact, a total sense of what we might call your giving footprint. So that's part of the connection process right there. If I just go back up the top again, you'll also notice this one here. Oh, sorry, let's go across to the B1G1 logos. All of the logos right there, I'm not going to push on it, but all of the logos which you can put up on your site, and gratitude certificates, which we're going to come to in just a moment. But also, look at this button right here. This is all under Connect. There's a button called Invite. And so if we press that, then you'll see right here, you can invite your team members to become a part of B1G1, and you can actually upload it to send that to multiple people as well. So if you've got multiple team members, you can have them become a part of B1G1, so that, and that's, by the way, their own money at that particular point. So they're adding even more meaning and purpose to what they do. This one also, if I press this one, now this, have a look what happens when I press this one. You'll see that it says coming soon. And coming soon, there'll be a little thing like that that allows you to very, very easily have a look at inviting your clients or your friends or whatever into the B1G1 family. So that's, and the other thing I wanted to show you there as well was the gratitude certificates. Now, right now, when you look at your gratitude certificates, I'll show you what they look like. It says you get them from here. And this is actually from the old B1G1 site. And you can see that there's a whole stack of them here, right here, and you can just download them, and then you would change them. No, I don't need to chat. That's probably going to get all the B1G1 team online right there. And so what's going to happen is you can just download those in Word and change them. And you're going to see in just a second what happens. In fact, let's do this now when you do that. So let me go back to there, which is where I wanted to go, and I'm going to just show you what happens. Oh, I was just showing you how we do connections, right? So let's just show you how you might use some examples of the gratitude certificate. Now, some of the people who were with me recently, you would have gotten a little business card which said 17 on it, and that was just specially created. And on the back of it, thank you so much for being here with me today, as an extra way of saying thank you. We thought you'd like this. So again, what you can do is just create these gratitude certificates. By the way, when the new one comes, you're going to be able to do magical things with this, one of which I'm going to show you very soon. In fact, let me show you some of these things that people do. Have a look at this. Very, very interestingly, one of the things that people, because they're kind of locked in, if you will, to thinking, charity and that sort of thing, which we don't want you to get locked into with B1G1, because you can do multiple things. Take a look at this. Here's a gratitude certificate that says, You know, they've done this and this and this. And one of the things that we found is that when you do an and, it actually becomes so much more powerful than just simply the thing itself. So we encourage you, and of course you can set up lots of giving stories to make sure that happens. Here's someone, look at this, you can also do it on your email. So for example, here's someone sending me an email, sent from my iPhone and changing lives. So what actually happens in that particular case, the person has a look at how many emails they've sent from their phone every day. That's actually a giving story. And then they put that number in their giving story and go ahead and do the giving. Here's another example. This is a great example from an electrician company down there in Melbourne. Have a look what happens. They've created a very special card that they actually send to their customers. And so their giving stories, they've got a number of them. Have a look at this one. It says, "Thank you for allowing us to help you recently. It's a pleasure to have you as a customer." And then, let me just zero in on this. Here's what's happened in this case. Thanks to you, we've been able to give a young child access to a fantastic playground for an entire week. Isn't that cool? It makes an amazing difference to their learning. And there you see the Business for Good logo on the bottom of that. And again, just imagine you were a customer of this particular electrician and imagine how you would feel. But look at this, they've got more than one, right? Rather obviously. And in this particular case, we've been able to give a student a solar study lamp for 2 months to allow them to extend their workday. This is a brilliant, brilliant project, by the way. I was talking with someone yesterday in the United Kingdom who happens to design lighting setups, and they said, wow, this is just the perfect project for us. But getting back to the electrician, maybe the third time you deal with them, something else. So you're getting the idea that you can customize things as, you know, right across the board just by looking at whatever projects you think are appropriate to whatever it is that you want to do. This one is another one. This is an education project, so that you look at that. You can have a student pedal out of poverty by giving them a secondhand bicycle. So you're getting the idea that in B1G1, you know, you're able to create masses of impact. Now, talking of masses of impact, I'm not sure whether you know what a zip line is, and we'll pause in just a second so you can, because I know we're going very quickly. Let me show you what a zip line is. This is what it is. Have a look. Hopefully you can see that. This is a place in Now, the important thing I want you to notice is that everybody is in a harness. I didn't notice that. That's the zip line right there. Now, the question is, if you ran something like that, then how would you introduce B1G1? Well, actually what happened was, this is how they started doing it. So when you got off the zip line and someone was actually de-harnessing you, you got a little business card just like this. And then on the back of the business card, which I've blown up for you just so you can see it, it says, "We hope your heart was pumping. We're thrilled you shared part of your day with us," as an extra way of saying thank you. We thought you'd like this just because you visited us. That's stunning, isn't it? 19 children will be able to enjoy it. So imagine you just come down off that zip line and you know, one of the team members hands you that. Imagine what just goes through your mind. And then, you know, a little piece about B1G1, and it says, "Do let your friends know about that." And then, by the way, you might be with a group of friends. So the friend might get another card. And this one, same sort of thing, but on the back of it, it says something different. "We thought you'd like this just because you visited us, a child in Malawi." So getting the idea that it can be different things. And let's say you were man and wife and you were there with your 2 kids, then your children might get this one. "We'll be adopting and protecting a plot of rainforest in Colombia." And then this one, "Providing blindness prevention vitamins to a child in Kenya for an entire month." Now, just imagine that the family had come down that zip line, and imagine what the conversation is about now. The conversation is about giving, and that's leveraging your giving out in amazing ways. Talking of conversation, and by the way, of course, it does come back to impact, habit, and connection. Have a look at this. This one's interesting. This one is actually in Brisbane. It's a bowling club called The Boo. Some of you may have been there. They're getting great things happening as a result of this. And this is a label that goes on the bottles of wine. And when you turn it over, by buying this bottle of wine, 37 children. So the reason I'm showing you this is just so that you're getting an idea of some of the amazing things that you can now do. And by the way, when you get a glass of wine, it's a little different. You get another little thing on the glass. I'll show you how that works in just a moment. And when you get the glass, 9 children get access to life-saving water. This is what it looks like. They worked together with a B1G1 printer, actually, in Brisbane to produce these things. And you can see that what happens when the barman gets the glasses, it turns it over and shows you the other side of it. And that's what it looks like on the wine bottle. Now, again, not surprisingly, in fact, there's been so many things happen as a result of this. I'm not suggesting you necessarily are going to do that, but what I am saying is think about the conversation. Think about how when this happens, how you're impacting the people that you serve. Here's another example. This is one that we used, and in a moment we're going to get back and show you things live again, which will be exciting. Here's another example of a gratitude certificate. We would typically give this out during our seminars, and live ones, and we had, the little no peeking thing on there, and then people would open it up, and then they would see, by being at this event, you've automatically given 17 children access to life-saving water. And it's just stunning what you can do. By the way, that would be 17 children for each and every person who got one of those cards. Now, you might say, well, how could I use that? Well, to answer that, let's go across to Sweden. Here's a lady, her name is Karen Vollo. She's in Sweden. She's a person in training. She trains people in high-end companies like Zara and, particularly clothing companies and stuff. And she's written a great book. That's the Swedish version. There is an English version as well, all about extraordinary customer service. And what she does is she uses that same idea so that when she leaves, she's talking, for example, with the HR director or something like that. And rather than hand him or her a business card, what she actually does is hand, and this would be folded, so they have to open it, much like the one that you just saw. And if we blow that up, we see just by having this meeting, in other words, just by connecting for 45 minutes or whatever, 111 children have got education for a day. And you can imagine, can you not, the impact that has on the people that Karen is meeting. Now let me show you. And by the way, do jump up there. Arcadia is doing a great job of monitoring the Q&A. So do get up there on the, oh my goodness, I say we've got lots of them. But anyway, do keep your questions coming, because I'm now going to show you some interesting examples. And these are, again, live examples. So what we're going to do is have a look at how some people use this. So that is how some people use the connection feature. And you're going to see some fascinating things here. So let's have a look at an accountant, first of all. And this is an accountant in Ballina or Lismore. And again, we are going live. Now, you will notice where we get to on this particular site, if you went to collinshume.com.au, you would get to their home button. And they've kind of hidden this, which I don't really like, under their about button. That's where we are right now, giving back. By the way, we would much prefer that you have a button, because people often ask, what should the tab be called? Well, you can call it, contribution, you can call it giving back, you can call it whatever you want. But I'll tell you what the best name is. The best name for you to have is the word impact. We know that when people click that, or that we know that when you have a tab called impact, that people will actually click that button. So here they happen to use, this is their own design, by the way. They happen to use a quote of Sir Winston. We make a living by what we get. We make a life by what we give. And here, very interestingly, you'll see they talk about, because they're an accountant, they talk about the things that they are doing locally, the things that B1G1 that would not get approved, if you like, within the B1G1 framework for various reasons. And then have a look down here, you see there's their Business for Good map, which we can click on and then have a look at their impact around the world. And look at this. There's their widget, the one that we talked about before, just scrolling away beautifully so that people get an idea of what's happening and the impact, not the impact they're creating on their clients and the impact they're creating around the world as well. Let me show you another example as to how that might work. This is a business coach, and I know we have, well, actually a life coach, really. This is a lady called Bree Taylor-Molyneux, and Bree works with pregnant and women who have just given birth in particular. Have a look at the beautiful way that she describes it. By the way, you'd never guess, would you, that she's in B1G1? But there she is, and that's Bree with one of her children. And look at this. What could possibly be bigger impact than raising a generation of happy, healthy children? And she says, because I love making my own ripples, I'd like to share with you just one more way that together you and I are creating an even greater impact. And then she links down here. You see, for every coaching session. Now, I wish she would use the word give, not donate. Donate is kind of like a charity word, but give is much better. I give towards a very worthy cause. And she then talks about some of the things that she does with beautiful graphics. All of this is made possible through my partnership with B1G1. She happens to be a lifetime partner. And then guess what? Look, down the bottom again, there you see her widget scrolling through. And then underneath all of that, thank you for helping me make an even bigger difference in the world, and signed off by Bree. Hope you like that. Let me know on the Q&A that whether you like that. Now, one of the other things that's very interesting is we have, just quickly as we're sort of expanding all of these things for you, we have always thought that the giving should be kind of covert. You shouldn't be sort of necessarily trumpeting it. But someone in Melbourne named Tim Wilson has actually done something very, very fascinating. He's competing against Bunnings and people like that. He's also a lifetime partner. And by the way, you can see the value of lifetime partnership right there, because look at this, better hardware, but then look at the tagline, where dreams are built. Kind of interesting. And if I just click, again, this is live, we just click on his site right here, and you're going to see something very interesting again. Have a look. When you purchase premium Bluestone pavers, imagine that it funded 100 bricks, or that new premium composite decking that you snapped up facilitated 1,000 days of clean drinking water, or the beautiful stainless balustrading that was delivered. I love the way he does it. Funded 10 days of shelter. Now, we're not recommending that you be this overt, but what we are letting you know is that people are really appreciating this kind of thing that Tim is doing. In fact, he's expanding it now to involve plants and various other things. Let's go back, and there's one more thing that I want to show you here. But so I'm going to come back live. There's Arcadia. Hi, Arcadia. This is a lady, and actually Arcadia, I know, knows this lady. This is a lady called Kydia Ukola. And Kydia has been in B1G1 for about 2 years, and she had a cafe, first of all, up in Agnes Water, and then she, things went brilliantly with that cafe, and then she expanded her ideas, and she now has this amazing thing. Hopefully you can see that in Maroochydore. And you can see right down there, hopefully you can see it, there's there's her little widget right there, and you can see, I love that thing about having your cake and eat it. You can even see the B1G1 map that will come across in your screen in just a moment. Now, what's really interesting about this particular example, and one of the reasons why we love connecting with you, is that when you go to Elixir Bar, there you go, there you see the map. When you go to Elixir Bar, what actually happens, believe it or not, let me come back live here. When you go there, and what happens is you buy whatever it is, on the receipt, right there on the receipt, it actually gives you your gratitude certificate as well. Now, that's all happened because someone said to us, in this particular case, Kidia, hey guys at B1G1, is it possible to do that? And I was thinking overnight about all of the innovations, that go on in B1G1, and they're continuing to go on. I'm going to talk with you about some of those in just a minute. And almost all of those have come because someone said, is it possible to? So although we're joining here and we're dumping a lot of stuff on you to really sort of expand what's possible, we don't want it to be a one-way street at all. We want you to be getting back to us and saying, hey, is it possible? How do I do this? And so on and so forth. And maybe you'll even have the pleasure of talking with Arcadia. Maybe she's even going to find some new things for you to do as well. Won't that be exciting? Yes, it will, they said. So let's see where we're going to go. We are going to get back on some more ideas for you right now. And where I want to go is right here. So this is going to take me back to B1G1 again, to my B1G1 site. There we go. And what I want to do is just flip up here into the connect button. And one of the things that I want to do, let me see, where am I going to find this? Oh, I know where I'm going to find it. Right here, I think. Let me just see. Here, by the way, is where we track all of our goals. But have a look at this. This is called campaigns. We were trying to find a way of calling this, and I'm not sure that we got the right name, but anyway, it's called campaigns. Now, before I click the button, let me tell you what this allows you to do. And please, just wait for a moment before you implement this. What it allows you to do is to have your favorite projects up on your website so that other people can actually give to those projects directly through your website. And the way in which you'll do this, let me go into campaigns right now. It's very, very, very simple to do. And all you do is you just select your projects, you get the codes and so on and so forth. Now, how you might use this is you might use this, for example, when someone has a birthday, when you're celebrating some event, when whatever it is. And so you can, or maybe you're running a marathon, whatever it is. And you can have up to 5 of those projects there that are campaigns which you are sharing with your community and getting involved with them. It's a brilliant, brilliant way. We've had a lot of people using this new feature, particularly people who've been in B1G1 for quite a while. So we would suggest that you just get used to using B1G1 as it is, and then start to explore some of these new things. But anyway, go have a look at that. And again, Arcadia is there to help you through all of that as well. I think many of us on the call know that B1G1 started or the idea came in 2007, and it took us 3 years to figure out how to make it happen. That first seed of the idea came in this place, not in that particular idyllic little thing that you see there, but actually in a conference room in that place. It's called the Pan Pacific. It is right in the spiritual center of Bali. And many of you know that right now we are sitting on some 78 million, isn't that huge? 78 million, nearly 79 actually, giving impacts. And we think that this is going to be the year when, amazingly enough, this incredible initiative of which you're now a part actually gets to 100 million giving impacts. And so to celebrate our 9th birthday and to celebrate these 100 million giving impacts, we have got a fantastic, and it is fantastic, conference coming off on July the 2nd to July the 5th, where people from around the world who are part of B1G1 will be there. We've got an award ceremony and all those sorts of things. But importantly, we're going to be delivering what we call 5 keys. And these are 5 keys that are going to help you run a much even better business. We're even going to be hearing from Simon Sinek, he of Start With Why, and Daniel Flynn. You may know Daniel, the guy who does Thank You Water, and a lot of stuff happening with Daniel right now. So we're going to be hearing from him as well, plus a whole lot of other people. So it's 3 days and plus a bit in Bali. Now, it's very hard for me to talk about it because it's such an exciting, exciting event. There's all sorts of magic things. By the way, there's a if you want, and we've arranged the conference so that you can actually take time off in the afternoons and go hit a golf ball on the Greg Norman design course. You can just go lays in the bar lays. Your kids, oh, this is such a kid-friendly resort. Your kids can be unleashing turtles in the wild whilst you're in the conference room, unleashing ideas as to how you build your business. So do go have a look at that, b1g1.com/5 keys. And get in quick, by the way, you'll need to do that. You'll find it's really, really inexpensive to be with us. The fares are cheap as well on the airlines right now as well. So do get in there, have a look, at least have a look, and make sure if you can that you come and share some time with us and even extend that time. So that's that one. Now, final little thing before we just pause for a bit, and maybe some of you have some questions, which we're going to take some time to have a look at soon. Not surprisingly, guess what? Just because you have been with us today, guess what? For each and every one of us that is here, 17 kids have got access to life-saving water for a day. It's all part of embedding this incredible initiative into what it is that you do. And so hopefully, as a result of being with us today, you've got heaps and heaps of ideas to enable you to do that. Now, one final thing. I know that we have a lot of lifetime partners on this particular call. Lifetime partners, by the way, have some interesting things going for them. One of those things is, aside from the fact that they are actually here for life, they get me mentoring them one-on-one in their business, as all the lifetime partners who are here on the call know. And some of you have not yet done this. We need you to do this. Well, we don't need you to do it, but it would be lovely if you did. Come and have some mentoring time. That's the mentoring calendar. It's meetme.so/mentoring. And all you need to do is jump up on there, just click that link, meetme.so/mentoring. Don't put it in your Google search term because it will come up with weird things. Just put it in the right straight there in your browser. You'll get my calendar, and you'll be able to get on, and we'll be mentoring you and having some fun as we help build your business as well. So, Arcadia. Oh, one other thing just before we do that is a little reminder as well. Someone just said, can we remind you? Yes, we can. There's that conference venue, or that conference thing, b1g1.com/5 keys. So make sure you have a look at that. We began this program by playing a piece of music by Seal, which is called Amazing. And every day when we do these kind of things, I am seriously amazed by the fact that we can be together with you around the world. So I want to thank you for taking time out of your day. I'm not sure whether you had your lunch or whether it was all too busy for that, but we do want to thank you for taking time out. Most importantly, I hope that as a result of taking the time out, you've got an even bigger sense of the opportunity that we all have now to make a huge difference just from doing what we normally do. And on behalf of all of us in B1G1, include Arcadia in this, of course, but all of us, but equally all of the people, just think for a minute of those 78 million impacts. I mean, that just makes me get a lump in my throat. A guy we know talks about it's not 78 million impacts, it's 78 million smiles. And so now, isn't it cool that together we have the opportunity to do some amazing things as small to medium scale business owners and people in small to medium scale businesses in the world. So one of the things that you might do, hey, let's do this. If you've enjoyed today, which I hope you have, why don't you open up your B1G1 account? Why don't you create a giving story which says, every time I go to a web event, and then make sure something happens. So I don't care what it is, but just pop it in and then pop it in your cart. Maybe you want to give a goat or something. I don't know. Whatever it is, just do that. It would be so lovely to see that happening. But it's been lovely seeing you here. So from all of us in Singapore, from Arcadia in Brisbane, thank you so much for being a part of it. We have loved every single minute of you being here. Thanks, everybody. Oh, and by the way, look out for the recording as well. That's going to be on its way to you very soon. Bye. Bye-bye.